Hey guys, what is up? So in this video, I'm going to share with you an important message and a lesson that I've actually learned after spending more than 1 crore on Facebook ads in roughly about last 12 months. And collectively, like combined, we have done over 5 crores in revenue across the portfolio of clients we have. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what did I learn about targeting, like specifically about Facebook ads targeting when you are running Facebook ads. And this video is going to be a very important video, especially if you are somebody who is running Facebook ads or who is learning Facebook ads. Because if you're learning at present, that's even better, because then there are not a lot of things that you'll have to unlearn, because when you already know 1,000 things and then you discover something new, it becomes very difficult and hard for you to unlearn in order to learn new things. So let's go. Now, talking about audience interest here and the interest targeting. Now, I want you to please understand one thing is that it used to work beautifully, okay? Layered targeting, stacking audience interests. It used to work beautifully at scale. It still does work till a certain extent, but not when you scale. So whatever most of the times, like 99.99% of the times, whatever I share, my only intention is to help you execute things in such a manner that you are ready to scale, like you are ready to grow. So you move in the right direction. And that's why I share whatever I share the way I share it. Now, I have done laser targeting, layered targeting, audience interest stacking myself. And I'll be very honest with you, we still do it sometimes, but only in the cases where we are just getting started, the ad account has no data, and only then we fall back upon these kind of practices. But currently we are now handling 6 ad accounts. Not even a single ad account that we have scaled and we continue to scale is using audience interest targeting. We are sticking to broad and open targeting. And that's why this video is more about why, while there are a million reasons, but in this video, I'm going to share with you one of those important reasons, a logical reason that will make you understand why do I say so. Now, this is about the question that I want to ask you in a very simple to understand manner. How do you think Meta knows the things that you are interested in? How do you think Meta knows about it? Through data, right? Now, I want you to please understand this, that there are 2 types of data, or you can say, the buckets of data, that how the data is collected, right? One is first party data and the second is third party data. In a very simple to understand manner again, first party data is the data that is owned by you, coming to you from your own resources, like for example your own website, your own app, right? Things like that. So for Meta, first party data becomes the data that Meta gathers from Facebook, from Instagram, and from WhatsApp, because it's first party from Meta's perspective, because Meta owns those websites and apps. Make sense? Now, how is Meta gathering, and what are those action points that sends out the data to Meta from these apps, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp? Number 1 is user interactions, right? For example, likes, shares, comments, etc. Number 2 is the information that you feed in your profile, Facebook profile. That's also another one, important one, right? So whatever you enter in your Facebook bio and your profile bio, that's also data for Facebook. So this is pretty much how you can say that data is collected when it comes to first party data from Meta's perspective in a very easy to understand manner. And that's what first party data is. Make sense? Second is third party data. Okay. Now, what is third party data in a very simple to understand manner? It is the data that you get from external sources, places and things that you do not own. And most of the times you can say this is the data that you probably buy from other places. And if you're not buying from it, then you actually kind of use things like pixels, browser pixels, to get the third party data. Now, here's what I mean. From Meta's perspective, think about this. what is third-party data from Meta's perspective, okay? Third-party data could be you installing a pixel. The pixel is Meta's data, like Meta's pixel, right? But that pixel is installed on a browser, which is on a browser which is, say, Safari, right? Apple's browser. Now that is technically a third-party data because Meta doesn't own the data. It is not happening inside Facebook. It is not happening inside Instagram. Like whatever the data is being passed on to Meta through its pixel, it is not happening inside Facebook, inside Instagram, or inside WhatsApp. It's happening outside. It's outside. So it's a third-party data. And this is like, there is more science to it, and then we can dive deeper into it. And I'm not a coder, so this is all my learning of years of practice and hands-on, doing things hands-on. And I started digital marketing in 2015, unofficially. Then in 2016, I went through a diploma, a certification through Delhi School of Internet Marketing. And then after that, I started affiliate marketing. No, first I started drop shipping. Then I got great results from drop shipping and all through Facebook ads. This is back in 2016 and 2017, around that time period. Then I was getting about 7 to 10 sales every day in drop shipping. I was making ranging from $100 to $200 daily in drop shipping, all through Facebook ads. I was targeting tier 1 countries, US, UK, Australia, etc. And but after doing it for, I think, for 30 days or so, and me and my wife today, so back then we were not married, but yeah, me and today my wife, we both were managing that. And she was managing the back end system, where she was just making sure that the tracking information is being sent out to the customers, etc. So we did all of that. But then after doing it, and once we started to get the complaints, the different complaints from customers, from users, saying that this is also bad quality products, then I did not want to do it, because I never wanted easy money. I wanted money, of course, because everybody wants it. But at the same time, I wanted to do something that can make me proud of things that I'm doing, right? Like satisfy me from the inside, internal satisfaction. So then I quit that. Then I moved to affiliate marketing. Then I did affiliate marketing. I created a funnel. That's where I started to learn about funnels. This is again in 2017. And then I drove traffic from funnels to affiliate offers, and I made a good amount of money. I was at a point, there was a time when I was making like $500-ish a day, which I did for around 7 to 8 days. But then all of a sudden, my ads got banned, my ad account was suspended, all of those things happened. And then I realized, okay, this is all a scam, so I don't want to do that. They were just promoting rubbish products. Like they were saying something else, but in the back end, they were doing something else. Some really fishy stuff, okay? And I did not know it. But then the moment I found out about it, I stopped doing it. Why am I sharing that with you? Is so that now, coming back to what I was saying, that I am not a coder, I am not a developer. However, whatever I'm sharing with you is coming from years of experience. This is 2024, so you can imagine this is almost a decade of experience that I'm sharing with you. And that's how I can be very sure of things that I tell you. So coming back to third-party data. Now what happened is that now you need to understand, why is this important? The reason why it is important is internet is going cookieless. Please do yourself a favor. Please pull up internet, go on Google Chrome, go on Google, Safari, whichever phone you use. Type google.in, google.com. I'm telling you steps, huh? Type in about third-party cookies or third-party data, and you will realize that there will be a lot of articles that will tell you it's the death of third-party cookies. Internet is going cookieless, which means any outside external source that anybody was trying to get the data from, they will not be able to do it anymore. Now tell me, I'm pretty sure you know about the iOS 14 update, when that happened, and all of this madness began, especially in the world of Facebook ads. So now what I want you to understand here is that all these data, the external data sources, are not anymore going to, and even Google is doing it, not just Apple, by the way. and they are not going to directly share the data with Facebook just like that. Okay, because of which the targeting that Facebook can do is going to be limited, or accuracy of the data inputs that Facebook gets is going to be less accurate than how much it used to be before. Like if you compare it than how it was before, it is going to be less accurate, because of which interest targeting is not the future. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, will these kind of practices work in the future? Not at all. It just doesn't make sense unless they come with a new system, which I don't think will be possible. But yeah, so how do you future proof yourself? By trying to figure out and win the broad targeting game. People also call it open targeting, broad targeting or open targeting, which means no interest. That is where you need to head. Okay, no audience interest, because that's what the future, this is where the future is. I just wanted to share this message with you, heart to heart, to really guide you so that you can be future ready. That's it for now. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.